Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Athlete Zone podcast. Today we have another special guest joining us, Isai Perez, and he is a defensive tackle, currently surfing the different teams. Today we're going to learn more about his journey to becoming an athlete, how he got here, what his brand means to him, and just basically him on and off the field.
Yeah, so hi, how are you doing today, Isai?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm great. I'm great. A little warm out here, but I'm doing all right.
Oh,
Awesome, yeah.
nice.
So why don't we just start out from the beginning? Can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up and how you got into football?
Absolutely. Currently here in LA, Pacoima, California. Honestly, I grew up playing all kinds of sports. I think football really just one that stuck. My dad had me participating in everything. Basketball, I was probably one of the bigger kids in basketball, but definitely, he wanted me to be well-rounded. But obviously, size-wise, I think football was just, it kind of came naturally to me. I'm a little more aggressive when it comes to competition, and yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it at an early age.
That's cool. Do you remember how old you were when you first joined a team?
I was probably between the ages of 4 and 6. Me and my friend Rashad, like we met at 4. We kind of just clicked. We kind of rekindled our friendship back in high school. Just been sticking together. So I think he'd probably say 5. So I'll go with 5.
Oh, wow. So you literally learned how to walk and you were like, let me throw a
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and run into somebody real quick.
Yeah, let me body
Yeah.
slam these people over here, these other 4-year-olds.
Do you remember having any big influences growing up?
Um, well, I mean, honestly, my influences really came from my family. But from an athletic standpoint, I'd probably say, the Latino and Polynesian, athletes, Junior Seau, Anthony Munoz, those are local guys, Junior Seau being from San Diego, Anthony Munoz being from right here in Pacoima, California, they're both Hall of Famers and
Mhm.
they both went to USC. So obviously hear stories about them. That's
Yeah.
why I wore 55 at Valley.
Oh,
So,
cool.
being everything that, kind of they represent for my culture. And, it's like I have 2 Hall of Famers in my blood. So absolutely.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's
cool.
awesome. What challenges did you face in high school and how did you overcome them?
Honestly, being from such a powerhouse like Alamany, we definitely, well, they valued availability. Availability is the best ability. So,
Wow.
just kind of having to having to stay, on the field. I was a two-way player, so I played D tackle on defense, and then I went back on offense and played guard. And that honestly led to me, I guess, growing up and getting recruited to high school as well. But it was really hard. It took a toll on my body, on my mindset as well. Obviously being a student athlete isn't easy,
Mhm.
and on top of that, you learn 2 playbooks. So I think the biggest thing was just the injuries. My knee injuries.
Yeah.
That's kind of a given for alignment, but
Yeah.
the knee injuries, the couple issues, with
Yeah.
the heart, kind of falling in out of love with the football.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you have
Just
any? Oh, sorry. Go
oh
ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
Did you have any like personal challenges that made it hard for you to, get to football and stick with your sport?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, just COVID. I think COVID was probably the biggest thing. I mean, I'm class of
Yeah.
22, so
Oh
COVID
yeah.
first hit when I was a sophomore. We missed the entire junior season in the fall to where they had to push it back in the
Oh.
spring semester. We had a 5-game season, which, I mean, it's still football, but it didn't really feel the same. Friday Night Lights, no fans really, just parents.
I
So,
didn't even think about that. Like
Yeah, that
that
was
yeah,
the
that really
same
did take
for
a toll on sports.
yeah.
But I mean, you still made it through, right? You're here, so it must have worked out.
absolutely.
I'm sure it made
Perseverance,
it a lot.
perseverance.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, perseverance is just the biggest thing. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm sure it made it a lot harder to get recruited for college just because it's such a
Yeah.
shorter season.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll say the staff at Alamany, they really did a great job at pushing us. And, I mean, we have dudes on every level, D2, D1. We had a dude just playing the national championship. He graduated yesterday with my cousin, or a
Cool.
couple of days ago with my cousin at Notre Dame. So, it's really cool to see those guys, in their element. And, obviously me being able to do my thing. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely super great.
Well, so through all these different challenges, COVID and everything, did you have like a person or a group of people that you felt like really backed you and supported you through it all?
Yeah, honestly, it's easy to say teammates, so I'll
Yeah.
probably, kind of, value that a little bit. But honestly, just my family, I think, there are times where, you can't really see certain people during COVID. So there
Mm.
are times where I had to ride my bike to school, which isn't close, or walk to
Oh
school, which isn't
gosh.
close. So having them here and, building our bubble, is definitely, it was very important for me. And for them to just, support me, no questions asked, just really be there for me. That meant the world to me, especially, my parents.
Yeah.
Um, that's, I mean, I am a reflection of them. So to be
Oh.
able to, be a son and to really try and, make them proud, I think for them to recognize that is meaning a lot to me every
Oh,
day of
that's
my life.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. You touched on this a little bit, but what was the biggest adjustments, or what are the biggest adjustments going from high school to college and college to college?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, high school to college, the first time it wasn't really different because I went to JUCO.
Mm.
Um, so going from Alamany to Valley, I think the biggest thing was I didn't play my freshman year. I kind of played 3 games, redshirted.
Okay.
So I had a lot of time, in the lab, especially, spending time with, my girlfriend, just motivating me. Because, things like that, you get doubts, sometimes you're like,
Hmm.
okay, I don't know if I should go back. Like, if I get hurt again, what's going to happen? So the biggest adjustment probably was just, having her there now, and being able to, motivate me, change my mindset, come back stronger my sophomore year, had an All-American year on the JUCO level. Then getting recruited to Moorhead, that's where probably the biggest jump in competition. I'm not playing with grown men essentially.
Hmm.
Hmm.
These guys are 24, 26 years old sometimes,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm the youngest lineman because I'm fresh out of JUCO. So these guys who have had COVID years and redshirt years and medical redshirt years, these are guys who have known the playbook like the back of their hand. Adjusting was a little tough for me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little tough when you're going from playing high school kids and JUCO kids to now the top tier, the upper echelon essentially.
Oh
So
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that
That's,
was a big learning and growing experience, though,
yeah.
I'm sure.
definitely, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like are there any of the older guys, did they come and support you and kind of help you? Like did you experience any support from
Like
them?
mentorship.
Yeah, mentorship, that's the word.
Yeah, honestly, I will say the D line group at Moorhead was very tight, but honestly, I think I had more, you know, of a connection with the guys my age. We had a couple guys who went from D2 going to Moorhead, another dude who went, from JUCO to Moorhead, specifically, my guys, Kylan Macklin and Jordan Graham, they're also, I think, in the portal, or I think Jordan's staying at Moorhead, but Kylan, he just signed to U Albany.
Oh.
Those guys, I think that was like my brotherhood out in Kentucky. Because though, we have FaceTime and calling and stuff, I mean, just support in person is like super big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for them to be able to, be there for me, we'd go out and have a good time, even just going on walks, just talking about, where you're from, the things that may or may not bother you, and really just getting to know each other as teammates and then eventually as brothers. That alone
Yeah.
was probably like the biggest mentorship or the biggest ask that I had, and it was fulfilled. So
Yeah. Well, and you're moving around so much, and especially after COVID, like hopping from like different schools, and like you're moving out, being on your own, like it's scary, and it's especially as an athlete too, and it's a whole new community. You get comfortable with them, you move to another one. It's good to have people you can relate with,
Yeah.
because sometimes it can get a little lonely.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you were at Moorhead, how was it like balancing school and athletics and also staying connected with everyone at home? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, no, it was tough, being
Yeah.
on the East Coast,
Yeah.
3 hours behind or 3 hours ahead rather. Everyone was here. Like it'd be midnight over here, and I'm still up at 3 a.m. trying to talk to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
hey, dad, hey, mom, what's going on? Even like like my girlfriend, like she'd get out of class at like 9:50 p.m. It's
Ooh.
about 1 a.m. and I have lift at 6 a.m. Just making that work. Obviously making little sacrifices, and she would do the same. So just being able to work with my family and obviously my girlfriend, like it'd be 10 times easier because I know that there are people who struggle with the same issues but don't have support.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So having them by my side and being able to, I guess, lean on them a little more than I guess most people would, that alone literally like was probably my saving grace out there. Just doing so much for me, and I'm forever indebted to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really sweet.
Yeah. So let's start talking a little bit about your brand and sort of behind all that stuff. When did you first realize that you had a platform just beyond just playing a sport?
Probably during COVID. I was like, one day let's make a TikTok video, and I think it was like my third ever video, and it went insane. Like I think it had over like 2 million, 3 million views, something like
Oh,
that.
We have a
yeah.
celebrity in the
Yeah,
house.
that's
No,
like
no, no,
crazy
no.
viral.
Do
My,
you?
my girlfriend is a celebrity. My girlfriend she's popping off right now.
Oh, really? On
Okay.
TikTok?
Yeah, she's teaching me things that I still don't even know.
Well,
So absolutely.
do you remember what the video was that went viral?
It
Because
was like a
we're gonna
drawing
find
video.
it and we're gonna put it
Yeah.
on.
Oh my gosh. Thank God a lot
Yeah,
of
we're
those
gonna
videos
feature it on
from
Athlete Zone.
COVID, a lot of those videos from COVID are definitely privated now.
Dang it.
But that video specifically, it's still up. It's my first, it's my like I guess scroll all the way down the very first video. It's a drawing video of
Oh.
like something about having drip or having ice, and I just drew some character, and a lot of people were talking about some anime on it, so I guess it hit the anime community. I've
Oh.
never personally, with respect to the anime community, I've never really been interested in anime, but
Right there
maybe
with
one
you.
day I don't know. But yeah, no, that definitely like blew up overnight, and I'm literally here with my cousins like, yo, like dude, this thing's going crazy, like I gotta do more. So just coming up with different like COVID-esque videos about what we're missing on during COVID, the college visits that I had planned with Arizona, USC, all these things that I'd be missing out on because of COVID going into my junior year. That's like prime recruitment. And it just kept doing really well, doing lifestyle videos about being Latino, being Polynesian, and just kind of like enjoying it.
Yeah.
It just ended up being like a cool thing. My cousins and I would just like be on TikTok for hours. So
Yeah.
that being the beginning of it, I think I had like 15,000 followers at
Oh,
that
yeah,
time.
that's good.
That's
And then now
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm at 23,000, and I'm trying to build it more. I gotta be a little more consistent
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
in,
awesome.
in posting, but yeah, I think just using that platform and using certain things to elevate my name and the brand, I think that is crucial. So
Yeah.
that's probably when I had the most, I guess, like I started popping off a little more was
Yeah.
during COVID. I was able to excel a little bit. So
Do you said it was a video of you drawing. Do you do art
I was
usually?
just about to ask that.
yeah, I paint. So there's this one heart that my girlfriend drew a long time ago, and I kind of made it the center of all my stuff. So I drew like a little island, just like little stuff like that.
Oh.
Like what I'm saying? She drew it,
Yeah.
and then obviously I redrew it, and then there's a couple more. Like I have a football one up here, like a field,
Oh,
things
that's
like
really
that.
cool.
I don't know. Like for me personally, my dad has always drawn. My whole family they play music, so art in that way, I guess, has always been around my family. And I can't play an instrument by any means. I can't sing, but I can draw, I can paint a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of just what I like to do. Paint, draw, and make little things. I have a vision board back there.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
cool.
awesome.
Do you
Yeah, just trying to visualize it. So
do you have any other hobbies that you like to do in your free time like that?
well, I'll tell you, any athlete would say, "Oh yeah, I love working out. I love working out." But during COVID, I definitely did fall in love with the gym. I think just feeling better, feeling good about the way you look, bettering yourself. That kind of became a hobby to me to the point where, like, my dad, my whole family was like, "Yo, like it's like, dude, it's like 1 a.m. Like, come inside. We have a gym in the back. Like, come on, bro. Like that's enough. Like, or like I have the light on in the back and it's motion sensor, so if the dog goes back there, it shines on my aunt's room, and she's like, "Hey, like, can you turn off
Oh my
the
gosh.
sensor light,
Oh,
please?"
that's funny.
So,
God forbid a
yeah,
guy
just
try to be healthy.
I
yeah. So, but yeah, no, honestly, I like driving. Obviously, spending time with loved ones, spending time with my girlfriend, my family.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always the most important thing. Though.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're back home now, right? So you get to see your girlfriend. No more crazy
Yeah,
time
absolutely.
difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing her tonight, actually. So
Oh.
hopefully we'll be able to go watch a movie or something.
Oh,
But yeah, no, the
fun.
biggest thing is just spending time. I won't say lost time, but
Yeah.
physical, in person time. Being
Yeah.
able to relax, not worry about, okay, I gotta meet this deadline, I gotta write this paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, like being able to really value the time that I spent with her, that I spent with my dad, my little brothers,
Yeah.
with my mom, so that alone, I think, is probably the biggest like relief and like stress weight off my shoulders,
I bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially going to the East Coast. Like me personally, I'm like an hour or two away from my family. It's not
Yeah,
it's
I'm the
not
same.
hard,
Yeah.
But being like completely far away and then in a different time zone, like you are pretty isolated.
Yeah, that's hard. I can't imagine that.
most definitely. But
yeah.
just though, so
Yeah. How do you incorporate your brand in your daily life?
honestly, I think, well, the logo itself is, an I, a P, and a Roman numeral 2. I'm a junior. My dad is Isai Perez the first, or senior. He did a lot in the Valley where I'm from. He did a lot in LA. Politically, everyone knows me as his son. I'm not just me. I'm Isai's son. So just trying to, I guess, redefine what he did in LA, what he did for us as a family, trying to multiply that. Not just being just as good as him, but trying to be better. The brand itself, I think it stands for responsibility, excellence. A lot of these, some might say cliche terms, but all in all, it's just about hustle. It's about getting yours and making sure that everything you do it 110%.
Yeah.
And just kind of like finding your why, even if it's not athletically, if it's not academically, whether it's in the workplace, whatever it may be. Everything you do, just make sure you're giving it 110%. I know in the sweatpants, I have the area code 818.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from. I know everyone's like, oh, okay. All right, like my girlfriend's like, the most supportive person in the world. So I was giving her the designs, and she was like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes. And
Yeah.
sure enough, they gave me the rendering back. They sent me the samples. On the DM and everything. I was like, I fell in love with it instantly. My uncle just
Yeah.
bought a pair a couple months ago, and he's like, "Oh my god, you don't even know. These are so comfy." I'm like, I'm glad. So just things like that, representing the A1A, representing where I'm from,
Yeah.
my bloodline that I have, I guess, obtained over the years. That's honestly what it means to me. Just hustling, getting yours.
So you were saying like doing what your dad did for you and like you're known as your dad's son. Can you elaborate on that? Like what's the story if there is something to share,
Well, I mean, not even just my dad. Both of my parents, really. My dad, he worked very closely with a lot of assemblymen in California. One is actually the California senator right now, currently. His name is Senator Padilla. Him and my dad grew up together, went to San Fernando High School. My dad worked with him at the beginning of his stint, I guess, in politics. Tony Cardenas as well. There's a lot that my dad did for the Mexican community. And then, of course, my mom, being from Boyle Heights, East LA, she ended up winning the Grammy a couple years ago.
That's crazy.
Well, not a couple years ago. I think 06.
What was it for?
So my mother is half Samoan, half Mexican. Her mom is from Chihuahua, and she played in a mariachi group called Mariachi Divas. And I guess it was a long process they had to go through, and they said, all right, let's insert our name into the Grammy Awards. And my mom went as a vocalist as part of the group.
Awesome.
That's
So,
really cool.
So she plays the violin as well. So just kind of, like I said, just to have that, the music and the art, everything, and then my dad being outspoken, it definitely made it a lot easier for me to project and be able to tell my story, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or editing videos that the brand wants me to put out, putting my own spin on it,
Yeah.
things like that. I think it really enables me to like I said, just hustle, get my own, and I owe a lot of that to my parents, my family, and
Yeah, it sounds like they set the bar really high.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's one thing you wish more people understood about supporting athletes?
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to be an athlete. It's very difficult. Whether you're a JUCO athlete, and I've been every level, high school, JUCO, D1. It's very challenging, and I feel like a lot of people, especially the media, like little like news reports that I would do in Kentucky. Like I wasn't a prominent player, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like I mean, D tackles, linemen, we don't get much, credit. We just get a sack, go back to the huddle,
Yeah.
get in the next one. We're not scoring touchdowns. We're not, doing all that. But I, was very prevalent on special teams. Blocking field goals left and right. Setting, school records, state records. So with that, I think the media and a lot of people expect us to be bulletproof because we take so many hits on the field. Specifically football. I can't speak for baseball players or tennis players. Anybody else. What I'm saying. This is just me personally. There are times where maybe we don't want to answer questions about, oh, hey, you messed up that play. How about we talk about that?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. What I'm saying. But no, I think we're not bulletproof. We're not machines. What I'm saying. Sometimes all we want to do is go home, hug our loved ones. But in the end, I mean, it is a big responsibility to bear. And oftentimes, if you don't see the right people, if you don't have the right support system, it's easy to crumble. It's easy to fall. And you never know when an athlete is going through something because we choose to mask it sometimes. Sometimes we are a little more open. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing right now in the NBA is just talking about mental health. The NFL talk about mental health. Just making sure that before we can go and perform on the field, we're in the right mindset academically, mentally, spiritually, whatever.
Yeah.
And just, being able to lock in before we lock in out there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like it's a big thing that's overlooked for athletes. Like people just like they have this outside perception, like it's so cool. They get to play a sport for a job. They get paid to play and have fun, but it is not easy. I mean, being an athlete is a full-time job.
Yeah, and very mentally demanding just
and
as much
physically. Yeah, it's definitely athletes I don't think get enough credit for the work that they have to put into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So what's next? What's next for you? I know we talked a little bit about this off the podcast, but
Yeah. Well, I'm in the portal actively looking for schools. Just putting my best foot, forward. I'm going to a couple showcases out here in California. I'm going up to Fresno on June 1st and then Sacramento State on June 5th. I'm trying to go down to San Diego when they have their, whole debacle. Obviously, I know we talked about that off the podcast. Just, trying to be closer to family, my girlfriend, all that stuff, especially her being River.
And San Diego, I mean.
Yeah, come on, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful city. Yeah, I visited a couple times. A couple times, but a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Honestly, I'm gonna head up there to Fresno, put my best performance on, my best foot forward. Go to Sacramento, and gonna keep posting on TikTok, Instagram. Updates. Hopefully come out with a new line soon, some new stuff. But yeah, just landed a couple of deals with C4 and Bucked Up, so doing a couple of photo shoots for them.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Building your brand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to. So,
what's your TikTok handle?
It's same as on Instagram. It's Isai Perez II. So ISAI PEREZII.
Everybody go follow.
Yeah, follow it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It was great meeting you.
Yeah. Likewise.
Everyone shop Isai Perez II merch on athletezone.com and follow his Instagram and follow his TikTok and follow his Twitter and I follow everything.
And just cheer him on, just support
and buy
him.
Everything.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Support athletes, honestly.
That too.
Yeah.
Support every athlete. I appreciate all the love. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Likewise.